Hello and welcome to Spring Commander Forged Alliance. This will be a really good game, probably become one of the classics. Kind of like the Zog versus CrazedChariot Epic or some others. But this one he's going against Lucian, of course, CrazedChariot UEF. This player doesn't give up very easily at all. One of the top players on the ladder as well. But came back a little later than most other top players who've been playing on FAF. Was one of the top on GPG, and Lucian, of course, has won most tourneys, as on the very top, probably the best player. Very nice to see that he's playing Cyber. And he's giving CrazedChariot advice. That's not many people can do that, but CrazedChariot agrees. So let's see if CrazedChariot takes this advice from Lucian on this one. But UEF versus Cyber should be an interesting matchup on this one. Seraphim probably by far the best for a map like this with water. Of course, in the middle of the map, a whole bunch of mass to reclaim, a lot of mass extractors we already see. Lucian's got some factories planned. So while the two players are building up, they're both going second air. One thing I can do with the 1080p with slow wider, I can look at both bases at the same time without it looking completely bad. So you can see the 6p gen build versus the 7p gen build, actually 8 it seems from CrazedChariot. But I'd like to say this is a great time for commentators. He gets more commentators for Subcom FA. This is really good. With Kyle coming back, probably the most professional. Knows all the names of all the units, which is amazing to me. But it really helps to learn the game. So here comes the factory from Lucian. People should definitely check out Kyle's channel. Really nice to listen to. And then we of course got Jack Sparrow, Napalm, and TJ help covering the tourneys. Recent tourneys also got some pretty good games going on there, so people should subscribe. Also give feedback. Feedback when you're doing these is always very critical. So what people like and what people don't. For example, me doing this, talking about random things and looking at two different screens may not be good. So here comes a scout now from CrazedChariot. So it's going to see how far the ACU is, whether or not there's any engineers. An engineer on the other side are here, perfect target for a bomber. You also see now a scout from Lucian, plus an interceptor. Not clear what kind of recon this scout has gotten. Looks like it will be chased. Of course, the scout does have radar on it. Just to see, really nice radar coverage. And an interceptor fights early air battles. We want to stay with numbers. Here comes Crazed. It's going to be a 2v2. The first shot is extremely important. Looks like still 2 interceptors alive for Crazed. It's now 1 versus 1. Another interceptor moving in. It's a pretty even battle there. But not 2v1. Looks like Lucian will hold on to air control. Actually, no, it's very hard to call. But total recon for both players, and both players now have an ACU to the middle. Of course, the next step is take the islands. We do see now a transport from CrazedChariot. Power spam to engineers, and power spam also going to the top ledge with an air factory. And in the middle, it appears that finally CrazedChariot is going to take it, which is significant, which provides a little more recon. Here comes a bomber from Lucian to the bottom island. Looks like the drop from CrazedChariot is going to go to the top. A scout from CrazedChariot directly to Lucian's base. 3 engineers on the power spam. So a little more power spam from Lucian. Bomber looking for any NGs dropped off, is not going to find him. But total air domination early on. CrazedChariot making a Tech 1 land spam on the middle island. It looks like this NG from Lucian really cleaned up here a little after 5 minutes. The eco, you see the reclamation 2200. Pretty big power problems from Lucian, however, it's a little uncharacteristic. Chariot, no power problems, but a little less to reclaim, about 800 difference. And that was this NG in the middle from Lucian. Successful drop from CrazedChariot, so 4 mass extractors. It's a pretty big advantage. Also, this is a nice staging ground for dropping. One thing to note, these initial bases, land masses are not equivalent relative to these islands, because there is this place he can drop off. So if you're more aggressive, you grab this island, you can drop off a little easier. The spacing is a little smaller. Also harder to react to something being dropped here than here. Hopefully that made sense to people. We're going to see an air fight, and it looks like Lucian might actually take air back here, which will be very significant. One thing we haven't looked at, Lucian going Tech 2 land. It's a minimal land factory spam, but going Tech 2 in the middle pretty early from Lucian. Looks like Chariot's going to come in with some reinforcements, going to try to take air back, but reinforcements from Lucian as well, and a drop. So it looks like the two players are going to divide up the islands evenly, one for each, but here comes a drop now from CrazedChariot. And this is definitely the weak point where you can drop off. There is a radar there from Lucian, so he's going to know that drop has happened, but might not be able to do too much. Looks like the factory is planned after capturing a mass extractor. Let's see what that turns into, plus some naval from CrazedChariot. And yet another air factory. So 3 air factories working for CrazedChariot. He has lost the air battles over this island. Very crucial air battles for Lucian. Lucian would have lost quite a bit of map control losing this island. But right now it's pretty much dead even. But here comes Tech 2. See a Tech 2 engineer. Now some Tech 2 flak. Quite a bit of Tech 2 flak for Lucian. 5 land factories, 6 land factories on the middle. Ground for CrazedChariot. And he's going to translate that into a little bit of map control advantage, taking out some mass extractors plus some engineers there. It looks like a drop now from Lucian. He's going to try to take this island. There's already a factory and a whole bunch of tanks, so that's not going to be successful. Let's see what they actually do. Create some problems, reclaim an engineer, and then get killed with some bombing now from Lucian. So Lucian trying to use his air advantage to take back an island. Tech 2 power for Lucian on the middle island. That might be a little dangerous if he loses this land battle, so he must feel pretty confident. In terms of Navy, it's frigates from CrazedChariot. Here a little after 10 minutes. So pretty even fight, very even map control. One big difference, Tech 2 land versus Tech 1 land in the middle, and air control from Lucian wherever he had the battle. Of course, pretty big air spam from CrazedChariot as well. See a bit of teching from Crazed. We also got to keep an eye on this Navy, whether or not that does anything. In terms of teching, we also see some teching from Lucian. So it looks like minute 10 is where both players really began to take their mass extractors to Tech 2. And now we do see the hoplites. These are going to make their presence known as long as they avoid the ACU from Crazed. Taking out some mass extractors. So it's a Tech 2 versus Tech 1 fight. It is going to go down to micro. This will be very interesting to watch. An engineer behind enemy lines there from Crazed is going to die. Don't see any stealth fields here, but they do have really good anti-air and the range on these hoplites. What Lucian can see right now, a huge range on these units. No chance for the strikers from Crazed to do anything. You see the radar coverage, plus Tech 2 gunships. That's very important from Lucian. And a successful drop once again. This position on the starting landmass, very vulnerable to drops, both players taking advantage. Here, it's a small landmass, so units can walk on it. Looks like this is the edge of the radar coverage, but also some radar with this force, perhaps. No, there's no radar with this force. Dude, Lucian going into the unknown for a pretty big hoplite spam. Now Tech 2 gunships for Lucian are going to try to take over the top island. They just might have the success. Tech 1 up to air, and a massive air fight is going to precipitate from this. This could be a mistake from Lucian if Crazed can win back air. Looks like he does have numbers. Meanwhile, now CrazedChariot took the point defense. He's going to try to protect his production. A very important fight. This factory near that factory would have died, and these engineers would have been a big problem for Crazed, but somehow, yeah, I think Crazed should win that. He has some flak. more reinforcements possible for Lucian, but looks like he's not going to do it. It's a very even fight. That Crazed that does take it. Meanwhile, the Tech 2 land force from Lucian just keeps getting larger and larger. Also with some mobile missile launchers. Of course, the ones from Cyber are far the best. They're very difficult to defend against. Even if TMD hits the missile, it still splits into multiple missiles, so very hard to shoot down. See some dead Tech 2 point defenses from Chariot. There's been great unit control from Lucian. I don't think these hoplites really got shot yet. They've been putting a lot of pressure on Crazed this whole time. Looks like Crazed is just going to avoid that hoplite force is going to move in. It does appear some Wangers now on the field. Very good close combat Tech 2 tank from Cyber. It's either this or the Rhino. This is a little more expensive, a little more health, plus skills underwater. So, obvious choice on this map. Gunships from Crazed now, so both players choosing to use gunships. This time it's going to be Crazed trying to take the island, but it looks like both players have massive air forces. You see Lucian here responding. It's going to be a big fight. Meanwhile, the two hoplites here are going to avoid the ACU, avoid the Tech 2 point defenses. 1 kill, 0 kill. Very disappointing there from CrazedChariot. Lucian avoiding all those units. He's going to kill the production. Massive problems for Crazed. And here's the Wanger. He feels ready. He's going to get underwater. Great problems in CrazedChariot's base. Here comes the battle. You can actually see gunships can shoot each other. Looks like numbers for Crazed in terms of gunships, but numbers in terms of interceptors for Lucian. And you can see how important air battles are in this high-level game. This time it was Lucian who won the fight, so it still stays even. Meanwhile, in the middle, Lucian with perfect unit control on his Tech 2 force. Striker's just unable to ever even get a shot off. And now they're going to face some Wangers in close range. And of course numbers. But this is really the end for Crazed in the middle. One thing that Crazed does have is Tech 2 Navy. There is also Tech 1 Navy from Lucian. Looks like he's taking Tech 2 now. But map control definitely in Lucian's favor. Also a lot of reclaim possibilities. There's still a factor in some Tech 2 point defenses, as well as the ACU for Crazed in the middle. But we'll see how long that lasts. Some gunships from Lucian, more Tech 2 power, quite a bit of build capacity on the Navy. So Navy is going to be crucial. If one player on this map grabs complete control of Navy, especially with the EEF with those cruisers, they can reach any point on land. It becomes very difficult. It looks like this Tech 1 naval factory from Crazed and quite a big enough assault from Tech 1 submarine. But here comes the torpedo boat, and it's specifically designed to counter these. Crazed is sitting on the edge of the water. He's going to walk into the water pretty soon. You can see the map here, very important. You can't jump off the lid, you gotta go around. Here comes the aerial assault from Lucian. He's going to try to go directly at Crazed base. Might be a mistake. That is a cruiser coming out. It looks like the Conventions are going to try to put down the naval production. Good choice there from Lucian. Going to try to delay this cruiser. However, looks like he flew into a superior air force. So air control is now once again shifted in CrazedChariot's favor. Meanwhile, in the middle, these hoplites have so far been the most effective units. 15 kills with this hoplite. And Crazed has basically lost the medal. Still has some units that are alive, but Lucian 0 kills, might get some first kills in his ACU. Destroyers now for Lucian. And more, you can see Wangers have been sneaking into Chariot's base that he's been able to kill him. This is some Tech 2 power, some power storage, great targets. And here comes a cruiser, so we'll see. The EF cruiser on this map is extremely good. Chariot reclaiming his old factories, getting some mass back. It's still Tech 2, mostly flak now from Lucian, so he does have map control and putting a whole bunch of flak in the middle, which makes all the air fights really in his favor. But a cruiser with a whole bunch of frigates in support and a torpedo belt, more cruisers. There are destroyers and cruisers now for Lucian, so it'll be a pretty even fight if they actually fight. But of course, in any of these naval fights, the air is going to be crucial. So a bit of a slow moment in this game. Both players getting ready with their air and navy. And this could be the end of CrazedChariot. In the middle, he's going to have to run into the water. Got about recording, about making some engineers. Some nice overcharges. See the dodging from CrazedChariot. And yet another fight now. Massive Tech 1 air fight, gunship moving in. So CrazedChariot still hoping to take this island. He needs to even out map control. So far it's been a pretty big problem. This cruiser, only one kill so far. Taking out engineers in the middle, but it looks like total air control now with the gunships coming in. And Crazed is going to take this island. Destroying a cruiser moving in from Lucian. Of course, Cybern versus EF, one big difference is the ability to make shields for CrazedChariot. But in general, both of these units have a longer range. So with kiting, Cybern is better than EF. Well, it's not really surprising given these gunships, but this naval units from Lucian could cause all kinds of problem against this navy from CrazedChariot, but have really good air cover. So here comes the cruiser now from Lucian. It's going to get a lot of kills against this air force. Meanwhile, I see these cruisers from Crazed. It'll be very hard to hold on to the middle now for Lucian. Lucian with the cruise missile launcher. Let's see if that's successful. See the range on that cruise missile. He can hit the naval production. He might actually choose to do that. Some Tech 2 jobs planned. More cruisers for Lucian. And Lucian doing the right thing. Some Tech 1 Navy together with Tech 2. But mostly Tech 2 at this point, but frigate's always a very useful addition to any Tech 2 Navy. You can see a whole bunch of cruisers from CrazedChariot. It's nice to just throw them to the front so they take the shots instead of the more expensive ships. And now it looks like the gunships from Crazed are going to be thinking about taking back some of the land, but they got to avoid the Tech 2 flak. A lot of Tech 2 flak here from Lucian, and this would be absolutely tragic to see these get hit by Tech 2. And it looks like a successful drop from Lucian onto this island. Appears Crazed sort of forgot about his stop island. He just might lose it. There's some Tech 2 mask tractors there as well. Crazed ACU once again under assault. So the middle, very difficult for Lucian to actually use it for anything because of all these cruisers. He does have a nice base here in the back, Tech 2 power, Tech 2 mass. But this game now, coming up minute 30, is really shifted into a naval battle. And of course Tech 1 air is still very important. Quite a bit of teching. You see Tech 3 mask extractors from Crazed. No Tech 3 air yet. A big Tech 1 and a lot of shields. More Tech 2 power, no Tech 3 power. Looking at Lucian, he's got Tech 2 air still just taking up. And mostly going into a navy. Most of his econ. Here we got the fight. Very important stuff though. You can see the Cybern shooting while EF aren't, because the Cybern do have a range of 80 versus EF only a range of 60. Plus the torpedo is also much better for Cybern, but the big difference for EF is the shields. So as long as Lucian stays out of range, he'll be fine, but he does not want to get into close quarters combat against the EF Navy. And of course, one thing about the Cybern ships, they can't shoot backwards. They can shoot directly backwards. Of course, also cruisers do have TMD, so those missiles from your EF cruisers do get countered quite nicely. It appears that Crazed has been able to take control over the top once again. Or we might see another massive air fight. Lucian with a total of 62. CrazedChariot total of about 130. So nearly double air for CrazedChariot. It looks like Lucian is going to take back his island. And CrazedChariot might be thinking about taking over the middle again with the cover of his navy. That just might happen. Looks like cruiser destroyer spam from Lucian. His navy keeps getting bigger, but actually both navies keep getting significantly larger. A few destroyers here as well, so in a close combat, CrazedChariot might have an advantage. But so far, the air advantage for Crazed is really what kept him in the game, because there's a significant number of extra mass extractors that Lucian has. A whole bunch of Tech 2 mass, and it's his second Tech 3 mass extractors for Crazed. And once you get a lot of Tech 3 mass, you might see some experimentals and patties and things like that going up. Of course, satellites also might be a good idea, but might be a little dangerous against somebody like Lucian. It appears Lucian actually winning this air fight, which is quite amazing. Yeah, he retreats to some Tech 2 flak. 17 kills on that flak. There's a flak on the edge of a cliff here. Not where you want to fly if you're CrazedChariot. Meanwhile, this naval fight continues. It appears that Crazed is now moving in. He's trying to get close. His shields are still fine. Also, these cruisers, they can be made to shoot at other ships with their air, and that's exactly what's going on. That's a really good anti-shield weapon. So what you can do, click on a ship. Actually, you can't see it in this view. There's an option to switch to land fire. Perfect against shields. It looks like the shields are down for EF, and without range, it's a big problem. See now CrazedChariot leading in with the destroyers, and once destroyers get close to Cybern dies. Engineers dropped off from Lucian. He's going to try to get some of this mass. Actually, some computer launchers, some emergency measures here from Lucian. Still a very even fight. Lucian retreating at an angle like that, so a very nice micro. Lucian also coming in with some torpedo bombers, trying to shift the fight with air. One thing that you don't want to do if you're CrazedChariot is to take your air and fly across the middle. You're likely to lose all of your air fighters, given the amount of flak in the middle. Tech 3 Navy now from CrazedChariot. And once CrazedChariot gets this ship, a battlecruiser, that has the same range as a regular Cybern, but much more health and much more damage. It'll just make Tech 2 ships disappear. We also see Lucian going Tech 3 as well. And a Tech 3 Cybern Navy has some pretty good options. Nuclear subs, and of course the destroyer, or the battleship. And that was a snipe. Those are cruise missiles from the middle. This one right here. And doing damage to a Tech 3 Navy factory, which costs 5,000 mass, is a bit of a pain. Here comes the battlecruiser, 25,000 health. Versus health on one of the destroyers only 7,200. So significant improvement. And we'll see what it does to this fight. One thing to note though, Lucian reclaiming all his dead ships. And a battleship from Lucian now nearly complete. Very quick battleship from Lucian. Looks like completely battlecruiser spam. One thing to note about Crazed Navy, he has stopped making Tech 1 since the very beginning. So he's now basically all Tech 2. Now going on assault with the battlecruiser, already have 2 kills. And Lucian is going to have to respect that. He's going to retreat, wait for his battleship. The battleship is going to have the range on any of the units that Crazed has. Looks like Crazed is going to move in with some gunships, deny a few mass extractors. So one thing that's a little disappointing for Crazed, using only one factory to produce his entire navy. He has to make a whole bunch of Tech 1 that you can lead with. And here comes the battleship. 47,000 health, and nearly double the battlecruiser plus longer range. The damage from battlecruiser might be a little better in close range, but you can see this battleship from Lushan. Massive range, you can start shooting one. Crazed doesn't even know that it's on the field. Oops, that was an accident. There's now some stealth on the battlecruiser moving in. 3 kills in the battlecruiser. Yet another battlecruiser moving in, and it looks like the 3rd battlecruiser now coming out for Crazed. So a little too much reliance on battlecruisers. Not enough shields, not enough Tech 1. And now looks like Crazed is going to have to respect the battleship. He retreats. A whole bunch of torpedo bombers as well from Lushan. We might see an air fight, and here it's really going to depend a lot on where this takes place. CrazedChariot just moves in over these cruisers. He's going to lose quite a few. And gunships as well coming in. Gunships moving in, trying to take out a couple of these cruisers. Not clear what they're targeting. They want to target the cruisers really quickly. That's exactly what Crazed is doing now. Torpedo bombers from Lushan. It looks like all this navy that came in from CrazedChariot that wasn't the battlecruiser just disappeared. They kind of weren't all together. It's a little bit of disorganization there from CrazedChariot. It looks like pretty big losses from both players. 2 battlecruisers versus a battleship. Actually, another battleship now coming in from Lushan. 10 kills in the battleship. These battlecruisers, if they have any hope, they got to get close. So much reclaim opportunities, and it appears at the end 52 kills for this cruiser. See, that cruiser died very quickly. So Tech 3 naval battle now between Crazed and Lushan, and Lushan still trying to use stealth and kiting. Crazed really trying to get close so he can get some shots, but you can see he's not shooting because the stealth now finally appears he sees it. And now Crazed is going to retreat. More shields and cruisers. Another naval factory is the obvious choice there from CrazedChariot. Here comes some Wangers underwater. They're going to try to create bombs. A lot of Tech 2 power. I don't see too much Tech 3 power at all from Crazed. Crazed trying to build on the island, on the metal mass. Gunship's getting just massacred by flak here from Crazed. Looking at Lushan, he's now finally planned Tech 3 power. So in terms of eco, both players very similar. 3 battlecruisers versus 3 battleships plus some shields, and it looks like Crazed is going to get the opportunity to grab all that mass with some engineers. More torpedo bombers now. Both Cyber and UEF have excellent torpedo bombers. So here, minute 37, the reclamation, 24,000. For Lushan, he's got nearly 200 mass, actually about 150, 3,000 power. Well, CrazedChariot, a whole bunch, and he's nearly the same on the reclaim, but you can see his production is so high because he's reclaiming so much. So reclaim's dead even, but yeah, power's dead even, so eco is extremely even. Some battlecruisers fight. You can see the kiting from Lushan. The Tech 2 transport was trying to counter the stealth. And these battlecruisers just don't even get a shot off. So excellent use of stealth here from Lushan and the range on the battleships. Good counter to the battlecruiser. Cruisers, meanwhile, this is a 72 kill cruiser. Not a lot of health, but still very deadly. It looks like Chariot's brand new base coming in under some assault. cruiser stealth and battleships are better than battlecruisers. It's a great victory for Cyber Navy because usually late game they aren't considered that strong. But with a really good micro here from Lucian, staying out of range, using stealth, they really put a lot of pain against these battlecruisers. They're actually going on an assault now. A lot of gunships coming in from Crazed. Take a lot of shooting to kill something that's 47,000 health. Nearly Tech 3 power for Lucian. Tech 3 land from CrazedChariot making Titans. So with Titans, Crazed might have a chance to take over the middle. This can be a significant advantage. Here comes a massive air force from Crazed. One thing to note, minute 40, still no Tech 3 air. Both players relying on Tech 1. That's because they don't have too much power. Much cheaper in terms of power to go with Tech 1. Targeting the cruiser. The cruiser's out. It looks like most of those gunships died as well. So it looks like an air advantage for Lucian, but he wasn't able to defend his gunships. They only took out the cruisers and then died. Titans are now out at 40. More shields. And Tech 3 power now for Crazed as well. And with a lot of power, just making 50 shields here from the EF, and you're nearly indestructible. It looks like the Titans are going to have some pretty big success against Tech 2. We might actually have a chance to kill everything. Another cruiser from Lucian. And now we got 5 battleships. Stealth still alive. Still no battleships from Crazed, just making shields. It's a bit of a waste of air there from Crazed. And there goes the battlecruiser. That's going to be a nice jump mass for someone. Titans, meanwhile, completely cleaning up. I see engineers from Crazed right away on the field grabbing those mask tractors. Multiple Tech 3 power from Lucian, and that means we might see Tech 3 air. We already do. Tech 3 air from Lucian, which means maybe strat bombers. And with a couple of these, we might see nukes. It'd be a logical next step in this game. But it's still very even. Second Tech 3 power for both players. Looks like Lucian able to drop off a bunch of NGs on the top island. Looks like he might finally take it. But in the naval fight, he's been quite dominant. Hasn't lost any battleships, and these have been absolutely dominating. Not much that Crazed has been able to do. Down to a single battlecruiser. And yet another battlecruiser. One thing about the battleships for the EF is that they do have the range. It costs 9,000 mass to make a battleship. And it looks like that's exactly what Crazed is going to do now. So, the cost of a EF battleship with more range than Cybern. The cost of a Cybern battleship, let's check that, is 8,000, so slightly cheaper, but it is an inferior unit. I think EF battleship with all these shields would have not many problems against the Cybern battleships, but of course the battlecruiser is what CrazedChariot went with, and that it's only really good against Tech 2, not against Tech 3. So that was really the smart choice from Lucian, and Chariot not able to adjust quickly enough. Because each one of these battlecruisers is just about as expensive as a battleship. And now gunships once again from Crazed. We see Tech 3 air from Lucian, and that might mean complete air dominance for Lucian. Yeah, this is going to be very difficult now for Crazed. He has lost the Tech 3 air fight. So now it's going to be straight up Navy. Titans, meanwhile, have killed everything except the initial base for Lucian in the middle, minute 45. battleships. Let's see how long it takes to get those out. Lushan with a whole bunch of NGs grabbing the free mass. A Strat bomber attacking the naval production. That's a really good choice. 32 kills on that Strat bomber. And Crazed needs to get some shield over his engineers. Otherwise it's a very big splash. Where is he attacking now? That was very disappointing. He did not shoot at anything. Flew over a cruiser. I was expecting a big splash on those NGs. So we're in a scene that naval domination. 6 battleships from Lushan. Our first battleship from CrazedChariot. This would have no problems against the Cybern battleship, but only 1 versus 6 will be quite difficult. More Strat bombers. Now it looks like in close range the battlecruisers will have some success. So 1 battleship down for Lushan. The others pretty much full health, however. 5 of them, and let's see, this looks like the EF one goes slower. And a spider bot nearly complete from Lushan. And that's stealthy, that's going to be very sneaky. A successful drop of a brick. Trying to take out Tech 2 mass extractor, this has to be killed immediately. I'm not really sure if CrazedChariot realizes he's got major problems. Looks like it's a 1 versus 5 here. Yeah, that brick is quite bad now. Looks like a second battleship is just taking out the brick, but Tech 3 mass extractor taken out. Good drop there from Lushan. More Strat bombers, and in the middle, bricks versus Perseus. But Perseus do have the numbers. Yet another Strat bomber. Didn't get to fly for too long. 2 battleships now, 4. Crazed. See the mic right here. Crazed trying to dodge some of the shots, unable to do so. There you can dodge. Looks like resource allocation for CrazedChariot on the ACU, but not a very friendly water. It's a 2 versus 5. And bricks versus Perseus. Looks like with support from battleship, Perseus will have to retreat. Against battleships, since they're so large, instead of gunships, it might be useful to use Tech 2 bombers. More difficult to shoot down, because the gunships against the cruiser, they just fall out of the sky so quickly. Another battleship for Lushan is lost. It's nice to see these EF battleships making their presence known. We might see a Tech 3 air fight. And these are actually Tech 3 gunships. Not really sure what Chariot's talking about. And his spider has been complete. And yet another battleship. Meanwhile, it looks like the Tech 3 gunships and air domination here, once again from CrazedChariot, is going to force the battleships from Lushan back. And some of these very brave engineers from Lushan are going to try to get some mass. 2 battleships for Crazed. He has stopped his naval production, which is kind of crazy. Looks like 100% Tech 3 gunships. And the gunships are going to the middle. Gonna take care of some bricks. See some Perseus on the edge of a cliff. Put down, but the Air Force will save map control. Nuke now from Lushan. Plenty of power. 3 Tech 3 power generators. 2 Tech 3 power generators for Crazed. You can see the Tech 3 air fight. Similar numbers, but looks like Crazed should be able to have it. The battleships for Crazed now shooting into the middle. They can reach past the half point. EF battleship by far the longest range. The missile ship from AN does have longer range, but that's slightly different.
cruisers and battleships from Lushan. Lushan using a second factory. That's so much easier to produce units. Because one big factory. I don't understand why Crazed just completely given up Navy. He's just going to go with 2 battleships. He's making a whole bunch of gunships. Those are going to be pretty easy to defend against. So it looks like I will speed this up slightly. Here comes the spider bot from Lushan here, minute 52. Should be countered by gunships, but it doesn't look like CrazedChariot realizes. He's got a lot of problems coming his way. And if that takes out the power production, it's going to shut down the air production. There'll be all kinds of problems. And you can see the battleship still going at it. And power problems are so crucial. If you don't have power, you don't have visual, you don't have radar. It looks like Tech 3 scouts. But you can see it's 7 battleships versus 2. And this is where those shields would have been so nice. But this is 7 against 1, and CrazedChariot actually now is going to realize he's got a spider in his base. And that spider's going to do real damage. Without power, shields don't work. And a complete collapse of Navy here. Both battleships taken out. A very good spider bot from Lushan. Here come the gunships though from... Oh wow, that was... We just saw half those gunships get killed by a shot from a battleship. I think that was a complete accident, but great anti-air from a battleship. So a little bit of mass traded for a big power deficit. You can see Crazed, actually no, he's still got resource allocation. But a lot less power without those 2 extra Tech 3. One thing to note, a nuke is already on its way from Lushan. Also some Tech 2 transports, perhaps some brick drops. It looks like these battleships are going to respect the gunships. And the air control from CrazedChariot. That's all that CrazedChariot has left is air. But he's got to get some anti-nukes up quick if he doesn't realize there's a nuke. This game's going to be over pretty soon. Some stealth here from Lushan. Looks like it's just Tech 2 gunships bound. These are very easily made, but very easily countered as well. Yeah, it did. Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely did happen. It was an accident. It was a big splash. Looks like another drop here from Lushan. Some really nice chunks of mass. And the battleships from Lushan gonna kill the Tech 3 factory. One thing that's really nice, some Tech 2 submarines. Lushan realizing there's absolutely no Tech 2 naval presence, sending in some subs. It's going to force Crazed out of the water. He doesn't have a shield. Very vulnerable target now. One thing to note, a whole bunch of Tech 3 anti-air all over the place for Lushan. So this whole bottom part of the map very secure for Lushan. And he's also beginning to secure the top. Here come the gunships from Crazed. And this is no more battleships. No, it looks like an aircraft carrier. And a whole bunch of cruisers. These gunships against Tech 1. It is a lot of gunships. The nuke's nearly complete for Lushan. That's going to be the end of the game. These Tech 2 subs, that's a nice touch from Lushan. And this is the end of the Navy. 7 battleships, a whole bunch of cruisers and stealth moving in. We see Tech 2 bombers from Crazed. Grace does have a nice gunship force. He's moving in, but cruisers in protection. Looks like that nuke will be completed. Yeah, this is just all gunships. They're probably looking for the ACU for Lushan. Lushan runs into the water. And yeah, these are not going to live for too long. Also, the nuke has been launched. So Lushan shows why he is the top player. And he did tell Craze needs to work on his late game. But you can see a domination on every single aspect. Nukes plus Navy. The gunships from Craze try to go in, but there's not much they can do with the heritage and kills coordinated. 1 hour games. Hopefully people enjoy this one.